But speaking of acquisitions, that wasn't the only one. There was another, well, a going private story, and then an IPO that both I think are sending, all of these combined sort of send like these sort of weird mixed signals about, if I'm a CIO, like where do I place bets? Does this matter at all? Is this affecting everything? So I don't know if you want to queue up that part of the conversation.
Yeah, so a couple of other different acquisitions we saw, transactions we saw was Thoma Bravo taking Darktrace private in a $5 billion deal, as well as seeing the Rubrik IPO that had been expected for some time, but all the IPOs have been held up for a while now. But now we're starting to see these transactions again, where we're seeing these $5 billion, $10 billion basically market valuations. And I think this is a real challenge for the CIO office, because now you have to look at all of your mid-sized vendors and wonder, are they going to get acquired? Are they seen either as features or as strategic pieces of a portfolio that could get picked up? Are they about to go private? If their stock isn't doing as well as could be expected, are they an acquisition target or a going private target? And how is that going to affect our operations? Because obviously, every time a company goes private, you do things like you wipe out marketing in the short term because you're trying to optimize the company, or you're trying to focus on some sort of product specific focus. Or if you are being acquired, obviously the parts that the larger company cares about are going to be focused on, while all of the little bits which you may be very dependent on might start disappearing. We're even seeing that with Broadcom VMware
I was just going to say,
acquisition. Yeah.
yeah, I think that's always the concern, and I think it is making it very difficult because we've historically had, I would say, more consistent trends, and like this week alone, we had all effectively sort of all three patterns play out in big ways, and it leaves you going, which way is the wind blowing on all this, right? So we have this IBM acquisition, which to me, we just talked about, and then the going private. So I'm not a security guy, so I'm not 100% sure on all of as far as where the company's coming from. I generally think going private is good for organizations, particularly if they've struggled in the public markets, or that's created pressure where they're making bad, short-term decisions at the cost of their long-term strategy. And so that one, and I think Thoma Bravo has done a great job of being really smart at picking that. So like for me, that would be a positive sign. And then the Rubik run, I think it's great. I think it's definitely indicating that there's a renewed appetite in the market, and that's, I think, good for everybody. What left me scratching my head a bit is part of the reason there's been all this downward pressure on particularly startups is that everyone was looking for profitability, and Rubrik goes public, has this huge pop, and they're still losing money, and it's like
Right.
it's going back to the future. And so, I found it looking at this, and I found no clarity, and I think it makes it very challenging if you're a CIO of trying to figure out, where you place these bets, or maybe more importantly, maybe the big message is it doesn't matter, right? As long as they have decent capitalization, good technology, that you are looking at it, like you just said, are they strategic? Do we expect them to remain independent, or are they an acquisition target? And just kind of thinking about how that may impact you. Maybe that's all you need to be doing.
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing that I noticed though is just the size of this company. If you know that you are working with companies that are called, 100 to 500 million in annual revenue right now, those companies are all targets for something. You're not quite sure what it's going to be, but the floodgates are open again. The money is ready again. There's no, it's not like it's been the past couple of years where markets were frozen and you would pretty much expect your vendors to work as usual because they had nowhere else to go.
So rubric sort of goes against what I'm about to say, but I also think that this is indicative of what we've talked about in the past about this broader shift to larger platform buys versus these small, independent, best of breed sort of solutions. I think we are in this sort of race to $1 billion. That seems to be the magic number now. If you get to $1 billion in run rate revenue, then you have a seat at the table to kind of play with the big boys, and
Yeah.
and anything below that, I agree. And so I think that definitely does kind of flavor how you look at it.
Yeah, because from a stock perspective, that $1 billion in revenue probably means you can call yourself a $10 billion company, and then you start becoming a real company in tech terms.
Exactly.
Yeah.